Alright, we're here. I think everything is going good as I've been kind of checking the mix and everything seems to be okay. Yeah, but I'm actually streaming my first Metafy session. This is insane. Okay. Okay. So let's connect to the internet. I think it's just me, so I can just kind of make this, which is awesome. Nobody will join. There's no way.
Step into the ring.
Did the setup change? Yes, it did. The setup changed. Be sick. I am currently in my door memento. I believe. There we go. But yeah, I'm currently dorming, so yeah, I'm in a completely different place. I'm eating breakfast. No more fancy light. I have a desk light now. My camera is also pretty lackluster, but it is what it is. Okay, arena code sent. I'm gonna ask if this person wants to DC. Thank you. Here, wait. I'll shoot it like a little bit, like that. There we go. Hitting the chug jug on that one. But yeah, now we're just waiting for the student. Currently going to be working with Trapsef today. Awesome. Okay, this person wants to DC. Let's get that underway. I don't know why I did that, but it's whatever. Remember me when you're famous? Okay, I think it's a little much, but I definitely will. Hey, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think you're coming through. Awesome. Okay, so I have a document up right here. Occasionally I might show the stream but you're gonna get it at the end anyway, so you don't have to worry about that. But let me pull up the Metafy questions. And we're just gonna not really, I don't want to say discuss, but we're gonna just talk really quick about what you want to get out of this. So, okay. Closing out games and sets. So essentially getting the final hit, right? Like a kill confirm. Is that what you mean? Sorry, did I lose you? Mr. Wait, am I not coming through anymore? Wait, what? What just happened? I'm looking at Discord. No, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Weird. Okay. I don't know what it is, but Discord's been doing that lately. Oh, hey, Trapsef. On stream, what do you mean? I'm looking at my thing. I'm pretty sure my mic is picking me up. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. That would be a problem. Okay. I heard that.
It's working now?
Yeah, it's working now. Okay. Can you hear me?
No. Maybe.
What?
Well, I'm answering through your
Okay, maybe it's okay. It might be my
I
thing
got
on
you
Discord.
turned up and not muted.
One sec. I'm gonna fix this. Okay. Of course, we run into technical difficulties. It is what it is. This can be fixed very quickly. Okay. Voice and video. Input device. That's why, yeah. Because it's not my microphone. There we go. Hello?
Are we good? Hold on, let me mute your stream again. I don't know where I heard you say hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Okay, there we go. So, we wanted to discuss today closing out games and closing out sets, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay, let me just raise your volume a little bit on my end. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to lower the volume. Okay. Hold on. Sorry, I just want to make it so that everybody can hear you.
All right, no problem. Faco sucks. Faco sucks. Faco sucks. Faco sucks.
Nah, you're good. You're good. I can hear you. I just want to make sure that the music is balanced. Okay, so now we're ready to get into the meat of the issue. So, closing out games and sets, right? That's something that you find that you're struggling with. Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, struggling to. I'm assuming this is stocks. This isn't just games.
This is like last hit, last stock situations.
So, sorry, I haven't eaten all day. Is there something that's different between taking the first stock and taking the last stock?
I think there's a difference in my play, and when I say that, I think my first stocks are like generally my best stocks.
Interesting. Okay.
Whereas I don't know why or where. It probably just adapting from the opponent, but I feel like my gameplay gets weaker throughout the fight.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. I usually don't. It's not that I see that makes sense. I have a couple theories as to why. I do definitely want to get into some games. If you have VODs that we can look at, that would be helpful too.
I sadly, what's today? Sunday?
Today's
On
Sunday.
Thursday, I could have been Friday. I kind of forget, but
it's all good.
My recent tournament, I was 4-1 and played on stream a few times, but I had to leave at 5th place because it got really late and I had to go home.
Nah.
But I was on stream a few times and didn't lose, and I'm not trying to say I did. I don't want to like just analyze sets that I won, but I just so happened to like win all my sets on that stream, and that stream quality is like terrible, like laggy. You can't analyze that.
That is really unfortunate. But I would like to know, who were you playing in those sets? Which characters, and like how would you gauge their skill level?
I played a pit. I mean, in terms of skill level, the only relevant person I played on stream was a banjo player that I wish I could review because that went to game 3. But yeah, it's choppy. I do have another set from like a better tournament with more comp, but like, I feel like I just played incredibly worse there. And if you want, I can send it to you. Like we could review it, but I just think I played like straight ass against a Pac-Man there.
No, you're fine. If you think that it's not helpful and it won't like get us anything, then it's not worth looking at. This really is your time. So okay, I have down that you are struggling to end games and that the first stocks are easier to take. Do you find that this is like so what'll happen is you trade stocks a lot? Like you'll 0 to death somebody and then they'll basically 0 to death you?
More or less. Not exactly in that matter, but
so the games are volatile.
We do take turns taking stocks though. I would say that.
See, taking turns taking stocks can mean that either the games are very, very close and that you're killing someone at 140 and then they're just dropping down from the angel platform and killing you. And like that's a little bit, that's kind of just how the game is played to an extent. Because like when you're invincible, you have a little bit more power. But but like when it comes to like zero to deathing someone, like really just advantage stating a character and then getting advantage stated really hard right back, like that's a volatile game. That's not a close game. You get what I'm saying? Like a volatile game when you just kind of get you either zero to death or you get zero to death, and then there's really little in between. There's no defense happening, right? Because if there's defense happening, then you're not getting zero to death. Does that make sense? Like it's hard to fully articulate this, but essentially like really what I think we should be working on is not hitting the opponent better, but avoiding hits in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that like, that sounds really obvious, but I think part of the problem here is that you're putting yourself in win or lose situations, right? You'll run in an up tilt, and either the opponent will shield it and they get a lot of mileage out of that, or you land it and you get a big combo because that's what you know how to do. That's not a bad thing. That's just how you're playing at the moment. And I think what we can do is we can make it so you can, in some situations, force that up tilt, but in other situations, you just kind of wait and you look for whiff punishing. I think whiff punishing with Falco is his greatest strength.
I still think it's something I need to work on more too.
Okay.
Like
Bro,
we discussed it, but
I'm sorry, I just caught a glimpse of my head. But
you go.
Okay.
Like
So
we discussed it. My advantage state is like okay, but my disadvantage, my camping game, it just still needs more work.
no, I understand. And the thing about Falco is that it's very difficult to learn that sort of defensive play through that character. It's just like that one aspect is something that a lot of Falco players struggle with. So let me write this down for you. So focus, learning how and when to whiff punish. Right? So essentially, instead of forcing win or lose situations, you can take a lead, force your opponent to come to you, and get a lot of mileage out of their whiffs. So I'm gonna talk. We're not gonna play just yet, but we are gonna hop in the arena, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about where you whiff punish Ike, and like try and demonstrate what I'm talking about here, because this all sounds great, but I think a little bit more concrete stuff is gonna be helpful. And anybody in chat, let me know if it's too loud. I didn't get too much time to balance. I've only balanced to this one. Okay. By the way, I hope you can feel it. I just got land, like yesterday.
Oh, he was lagging last time, wasn't he?
It was terrible. It's just, it was the difference between dorm Wi-Fi and this.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels good. I don't know if I can feel land, honestly, but
Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's way better. Anyway, so when it comes to Ike, right, you can whiff punish things like Nair, which is very precise. So like, for example, it is very difficult to whiff punish this with like a combo starter. Like, I think the only thing you can really get with this consistently, if you know it's coming, is like a dash attack. You can anti-air me, but that's a bit more of a call out. Like a whiff punish, like once I've already whiffed the move, it's like dash attack. So that's an interesting thing to mention, right? So stuffing me out, like anti-airing me, and whiff punishing are different things.
Okay.
Out and whiff punishing, they're actually opposites, right? Are opposite ideas. Stuffing out is preemptive. In some ways, it's aggressive, because essentially I'm jumping and you are hitting me before I do anything. You are preventing something, right? A whiff punish, right? It can be risky, right? It can be an unsafe move, but you've seen the move come out, and you are punishing the whiff. Does that make sense?
Like you talking about like block and like shield after as a whip punish?
Uh, well, a whiff punish usually means you're getting a hit. Sometimes you can get positional advantage out of a whiff. For example, let's say I'm doing this. Just walk forward. Right? Like, pretend I didn't hit you there. But like, if I'm doing this, you can gain stage control. But like, in general, when people talk about whiff punishing, they're talking about me missing a move and you hitting me for it. The easiest example is something like Ike rising back air. So if I hit this move, if I whiff this move, you could just up air that. Right? You could just yeah. Like, you just hit me for that. Right? So essentially, when I rise with this move, you want to whiff punish because the leg at the end of the move is way easier to hit than than like you can't really stuff this move out, right? You have like 6 frames to do it. Like there's no way you can react. So stuffing out is preemptive. You do it to prevent moves from happening, right? Whiff punishing is reactive, right? Whiff punishing, you see the move happen and then you punish it. So whiff punishing is reactive. You do it to punish end leg on moves that have already happened, right? So essentially, like, they're the same concept in the sense that you're punishing the opponent for making a mistake, but stuffing out, you're hitting me before I get to do anything, right? And whiff punishing, you're hitting me after I've done something because I'm in lag. Does that make sense?
I'm starting to understand why you say they're opposites.
Yeah, they're the same idea because you're hitting me for making a mistake, but they're opposites. So like if I do this, that's something you want to whiff punish because I can't do anything until I hit the ground. Right? And with this, I would recommend you go for a grounded option. So like you could up tilt, that's rough, especially if I'm jumping in from here. Right? So like a run and up tilt is like a hard call on this sort of option. I would recommend you go for something like a dash attack. Yeah, like a dash attack on my landing. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like all this time when sorry, the platform's fucking. All this time, if I'm here and I do this, I have to wait to land a little bit closer, and you got it. Yeah, I couldn't shield there. You see what I'm talking about? Like if I whiff a rising move like that, I have to wait until I touch the ground to do anything. I can air dodge, but like even like I tried to air dodge there and you hit me. Right? Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now with this, right? When I land with aerials, this is something you want to rise with an aerial and hit me for. That's something you want to stuff out. Right? See what I'm talking about? So like just do a rising fair. Perfect. See? So like that is like stuffing me out. That's preventing me from doing a move. Whiff punishing is hitting me for doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically the difference. Well, that's really the whole difference. So when it comes to whiff punishing, essentially you're not trying to prevent me from doing a move. You're trying to get me to do a move in a spot where you can hit me for it. So like that's my theory. I'm pretty sure in game what you're probably doing is trying to hit me before I get to act, but you want to be hitting me after I act with an error. Right? Essentially, there's this, I can't remember who said it, but there's this great quote, don't interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. You get what I'm saying?
I never heard the quote, but I do understand it.
Right? You want to let me make errors. Because if you're always stuffing out my jumps, then I'll just up tilt you, and I'll just wait. But if my jumps are bad, right, you can dash back, dash in, and hit me for it. Right? And then if you're hitting both my jump and you're hitting my landing, I'm going to feel completely overwhelmed. Right? So, essentially, I'm going to put the quote in your document, because I think it's really good. Do not interrupt your opponent while they are making a mistake. Perfect. So, don't interrupt your opponent while they're making a mistake. There are a lot of different ways I can pressure, obviously, but his three main ways are landed aerials for grounded pressure, rising aerials to call out jumps, and grounded pressure. Kind of like, the grounded pressure has two functions. You can anti-air with it, but it's unsafe on shield, and you can pressure shields with it, but then like if they jump, then they're in an advantageous position. So like, when you're dealing with this, if you think that the Ike wants to punish your jump, right, he's going to be going for things like up tilt, maybe a back up air, right, maybe a rising aerial of some kind. That's a place where you can hold shield in general, right? So just hold shield against this, right? Okay, well, that's my fault.
Yeah.
But essentially, if I'm rising with an aerial, I'm going to be unsafe on shield, because the reason is very simply because I have to land, right? When I do a landed aerial, I've put myself in a situation, I've set up this situation where I am landing with a move, right? So by the time my hitbox is finished, I'm in shield, right? Or I'm dashing back, or I'm jumping again, right? Or I'm hitting, right? Like, I can do anything after the move hits, because like, landing on the ground cancels it doesn't cancel lag, it still has landing lag, but it significantly decreases the amount of time that it takes between me having the hitbox out and me being able to act, right? So, I'm gonna put this on the document too. Landed aerials decrease the amount of time I have between the hitbox being active and me being able to act freely. Perfect. Okay. So they decrease the amount of time I have between hitbox being active. Now, the reason that you use rising aerials to anti-air, even though they're unsafe on shield, is because they put the hitbox out immediately, right? There's very little time, or there's way less time between this hitbox being active, right? That jump, like there's a lot of time at the beginning of this move, but this is like, it's way faster. The difference is that now that lag moves to the end of the action. So like, for example, you have, I'll kind of like lay it out. You have lag, move, and then you can act. So lag, move, action. Does that make sense? Like, this is completely lag. Like, there's nothing I can do here if I want to land an aerial. I land the aerial so the hitbox is out, and then I'm free to do whatever I want. There is a small window of time where you can hit me for this snare if you are perfectly spaced, right? So just like stand there, and just stand just out of range. And I'm gonna nair, just dash attack. Not out of shield. If it hits your shield, it's over. Right? That's a very small window where you can punish. I think I could have shielded there though. Like, this is really small. So try it again. Yeah. Right, like, it's very difficult to get. Like, most of the time you'll either get hit or you'll hit a shield. So it's rough. And usually you have to punish me with something unsafe. So
yeah, so it's a timing thing, and it's a risk.
Yeah, it's a bit of a risk. So essentially with this, you have the lag, right? This is the thing that you usually want to be punishing, and then you have the action, and then you can move freely. With this sort of move, you have hitbox, lag, and then action. Does that make sense? It just switches the order, but the lag is still there, right? With this, you can just dash attack. Right, like that's just free, right? And you can do that immediately. So just dash attack as soon as I jump, right? Like I'm not landing in shield there, right? I tried to shield there, I couldn't. So with that, if you ever see something like this, you just punish it with dash attack almost on reaction. All right. So dash attack is a great one. I do want to talk about laser, but we're gonna get to that in a bit. When you want to get a combo starter, right, as Falco, let me just write down what I've said before. So I'm gonna put rising aerials have little time between the hitbox. Rising aerials have almost immediately active hitboxes, but are easy to whiff punish. Okay, so that, and then so I'm gonna put rising aerials, and I'm gonna put that thing that I just mentioned where it's like, with a rising aerial you have hitbox, lag, freedom, right? And freedom just meaning you can do whatever you want. Landed aerials, you have lag, and then you have hitbox, and then you have freedom. It just switches around the order of the hitbox and the lag. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. So if you want to get a combo starter as Falco, you have to either know where I'm going to jump, right? Or you have to know when I'm going to land, right? Does that make sense? So if I'm landing with a lot of this, right, and you know the timing of this move, you want to parry, always. That's definitely more of an offline thing, right? But if I'm doing this at the same timing every time, parry. Big brain strategy, because you parried, you can run around freely because you get to do whatever you want. A lot of Ikes will shield. You can get a grab out of that, which is a combo starter. So that's good to know. Some Ikes will mash. Against them, you might get hit once or twice. You want to be usually jumping against that. Because, like, for example, if I'm here and you parry it, I don't think you can up tilt. Just hold shield. Yeah, I don't think you can get a dash and up tilt either, because it only gives you 3 extra frames. And I think your dash is 3 frames, so I don't think it would happen. But the thing you can do is you can gain positional advantage, which is really important, right? So if you get a parry, you can either go for a grab, which is a little risky, but like usually it'll work, especially the first time. But I also recommend you do a couple things. One of them is jump, because when you jump, you can land with any safe aerial, right? You can space a Falco Nair. So can you just space Nair on my shield? Wow, okay. Not as good an aerial to space as I thought. You can space an up air. That I know for a fact. Yeah. Can you land that? Can you land the forward facing hit? Yeah, you gotta really time that. I would say back hit of up air.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Interesting. Yeah, but the front hit is
yeah, they're both. It's a thing. Like, landing up air is like.
Yeah, you can get a landed up air on a shield, and it's safe, right? So landed up air is good. So essentially, what you want to be doing out of a parry that you can't really get a guaranteed punish on, you can go for a grab because a lot of people shield, not just Ikes. A lot of people shield. You can go for a jump, particularly for Falco with short hop, to try and land the move. Another thing that's nice about being in a short hop height, so this is the thing, right? When you parry a move, right, you have not just called out my action, you called out my timing, right? So the thing about parrying is that if I were to do something like this, right, I win because you didn't parry it, but I can also do this, right? And that just completely beats your options, right? So Ike does have a lot of ways of mixing up parry timing, if that makes sense. He can also just land with down tilt. He can land with nothing. Bro, I've seen people who parry fish, like, get hit by this, which is just really funny. But essentially, like, you do want to be careful. However, if you feel confident and you get a parry, a lot of times, if it's unspaced, just up tilt, right? So, like, if I'm here, just up tilt. Like, that's free. But if I'm out of range, then instead of trying to hit me, unless it's with a grab, because a lot of people get hit by grab, then you want to be going for a positional thing, right? So, short hop. One thing you can do is, if you're in, let's say, the middle, like, it's harder to do in the corner, but if you're in the middle, you can dash away from a mashing Ike and just kind of take stage. You can also dash toward them. Well, wait a minute. Not if it's a landed aerial. Never mind. If it's a rising aerial and you get a parry, you can kind of dash uphill, like for free, right? So this is what I mean. I'm gonna write this down. If you get a parry, okay. So let's start with why parrying is good. Wait, parrying is the ultimate whiff punish, right? It seems kind of weird, but like parrying is the ultimate whiff punish because you have not only nullified their hitbox, you've given yourself extra advantage frames. So parrying is the.
Can I ask a little small question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who do you? I don't have a like a training pack, mod pack. So like, who do you? And I'm not gonna pretend I know how to parry, but I'm not gonna pretend I go in games parrying on purpose. Like most of my parries are accidents.
That's fair. The way that I practice parrying, very simply, I put 2 Dr. Marios or 2 Falcos into training mode, and I put them on opposite sides, and I set them to neutral B.
Okay.
And you just try and parry either both lasers or both pills.
I've done Pit and I've done Pikachu.
That works.
Pit usually charges his arrows, so it's like kind of annoying, and then Pikachu's like.
Falco
Pikachu's
can.
Like, taught me how to parry. I ain't even really think about that.
That's fair. You know,
I don't know why I think about that.
You can set 2. I've seen 3, but that's kind of hard. Like you have to put 1 on a platform.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but like you can practice parrying that way. Like eventually, like once you do 3, like you're kind of just parrying the same one twice with the same timing, so it doesn't really make a difference. But
okay,
parrying is like really good to practice, and that's the way that I would recommend you do it. I wish I had mod pack. I don't have a moddable switch, but like honestly, parrying is something you don't need the mod pack for.
Okay.
Parrying is the ultimate whip punish. Gives advantage frames because the opponent did a move, right? Bro, people are being annoying outside my window. Anyway, parrying is the ultimate whip punish. Parrying a miss-based aerial is a free up tilt. Free up tilt. Parrying a spaced up tilt, you want to take positional advantage.
Parrying a space move, I want to take positional.
Oh wait, spaced up tilt, my bad. Spaced move, you are absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
Spaced move, you want to take positional advantage. And I'm going to put in parentheses, short hop.
And that's when you were saying like a jump or a dash away.
Yes, a dash away is for people who mash. If somebody's mashing on you, then a dash away will beat that. But usually you don't want to do that.
If I notice the player's better, try a jump or something.
Yeah, like people who respect you will either shield or do something defensive. Very rarely will someone go for like an up tilt, right? Like an up tilt is a hard call out on a jump. But at that point, then you shield again, and then you shield an up tilt and you win. So like obviously there's a bit of game here. Like you can always get outplayed, but generally, like especially on somebody who's not really sure about what they're doing, you parry a miss-based aerial, you get a free up tilt no matter who it is. If you parry a space move, a short hop is very safe, and a grab will usually work, although it's not guaranteed to. Okay, let's get back into more. Because now we're going to talk a little bit about, what is it? The way that you play against specific characters. So Falco, obviously, the way he plays against Ike is going to be different from the way he plays against Mario. And as somebody who currently is kind of struggling to finish games and like finish stocks, I'm sure that you definitely struggle more against characters who outrange you.
Yep.
Yeah. And the main reason for that is that the scramble situation is in my favor. Almost always. Especially against characters like Ruin and Crom, who are just, oh, I don't know who has advantage here, right? And, like, they win. So, basically, the whole point of whiff punishing is to punish those characters for those moves. And it's not easy. It's really not, especially in this game. But when you get good at it and when you can feel it, it'll be like second nature. And essentially, the real goal of learning whiff punishing is not to just do it all the time. It's to be able to seamlessly transition between pressure and looking for a whiff. And like, once you get to that point, you'll be unpredictable and like unstoppable. When you can apply accurate and like powerful and scary pressure, and then immediately know when the opponent wants to retaliate, when the opponent wants to be defensive, and then you wait for a whiff, and then you get the punish, like then you're insane, right? So, and that's something that takes a very long time, that sense of like, when do they want to roll, right? But like, the first step
those
is
things happen to me, like in brackets. Like,
yeah. Essentially, what people will do is they'll apply pressure. So like hold shield, they'll apply this sort of pressure, and then they wait. Right. So essentially, the game goes between, at least for the good player who's in control of the match, pressure and wait, pressure and wait. Right. And obviously, the amount of time that they're pressuring and the amount of time that they're waiting fluctuates massively. Right. So for example, I've seen people do this. Right, and just kind of hold, and like I have not stopped pressuring you, right, and now I'm waiting, and then right pressure, right, I'll just wait here for a million years, right, and then like you see what I mean, like you can spend as much time as you want or as much time as you feel necessary in those different like states of the game. I don't want to call it a game state because game state's like advantage and disadvantage, but like in that mindset of like, I'm gonna hit you or I'm gonna wait for you to whip something, right? So essentially, one of the people who plays Ike at my local, who's like one of the better Ikes in the East Coast, he says this is just the funniest shit. I love Ragnarok. He says, remember, don't try to hit him and then hit him.
I kind of get it.
It's really funny. I'm gonna put that here too. Don't try to hit them, then hit them. Right? Essentially, just move around. Right? Obviously, there are better things you could be doing, but like, especially when you're first starting out and practicing this stuff, just move around the stage without the intent of hitting your opponent and see what they do. Right? Are they like immediately aggressive and like immediately they want to win neutral? Or are they gonna like, chill out with you and like, essentially no matter what the opponent's doing, they're giving you information. Right? Somebody willing to go like this is gonna play a little bit more patiently than somebody who's just immediately in your face. So, I'll put that on the thing too. Every player is constantly giving information through their actions. Okay, there we go. So, when it comes to whiff punishing in general, one really powerful and important thing to know is what your opponent wants to hit when. Right? So for example, Ike, right? Can I just reset your percent? Yeah. I don't know why I did that. But when it comes to Ike usually wants to be landing one of two things. A landed aerial, down tilt, or a grab. Pretty consistent. At kill percents, obviously things like back air become a threat, things like F tilt become a threat, up tilt to catch jumps, right? A lot of Ike's moves have a lot of utility, right? I would hesitate to call any one of his moves bad, but like usually Ike's trying to land a landed aerial, a tilt, usually down tilt, or maybe up tilt, and a grab, right? So with that in mind, at low percents, at like 0, Ike probably wants to land a landed aerial or a grab, right? Some Ikes will go for down tilt, but like usually, like the vast majority of Ikes are doing this a lot, right? So with that in mind, you can play around this sort of threat bubble of like fair. I would play around fair, because fair is like the thing that gets people, because Nair has slightly less range. So like for example, if I'm here, right, and I'm just like barely not hitting you, you don't have to shield. It shouldn't hit you, right? If I'm barely not hitting you and then I go for this, like you can see how I'm not hitting you here, but I'm hitting you there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nair into grab, into zero, into up air, up air. Yeah, exactly. So like, what's funny about Ike is that a lot of his stuff, like he can land a Nair and then get a grab, which is like just part of his kit. But the point being is that these sort of landed aerials are like the main thing that Ike is looking for almost all the time. Down tilt, it does come into play, especially after a parry, but that at that point you're already getting hit by it. And kill moves come into play when you're at kill percent, right? And of course you want to avoid grab. But the thing about Ike a lot of the time is that he wants to be jumping. He wants to be in the air. So generally, at the beginning of the game against Ike, you don't want to pre-commit, so you don't want to be just swinging at the air. But like you can look to be like, okay, where's he jumping, right? And like make that your priority, so that eventually you could do things like this and start your combos. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, if we were to just play and I would just kind of move around here, right? Your goal should be like, okay, I'm gonna stand here and I'm gonna laser cast and I'm gonna see when he jumps at me, right? Does he walk up and shield? Is he side being over to try and get immediately in, right? Like, is this person just like, I don't even know, trying to clank with the laser because they want to be able to swing and wall me out? Like, essentially, the entirety of the game is built on what your opponent is doing to counteract you, right? If you can make the game about what is my opponent doing and why, and like, how do I hit them for it, you will see a ton of success. So I'm gonna put this on the doc. Adopt the mindset of how do I hit my opponent for what they are doing. And this can be tough, especially if you like your opponent's spamming some broken move. Like someone is listing every single safe thing that I can do in the entire game in the chat. Yeah.
A lot of people think Ike is broken. Which since I've met you, a lot of people think Ike is broken. And like since I've met you, I've like my Ike hatred has died because I know how to anti-air now.
Yeah, no.
But
it's a very Ike is a character that like will dominate in the mid-level sphere, and like the better the player gets, the more obvious his weaknesses are. Like I will say, like dying, like for example, if you're a Pichu player and you're winning neutral all the time and you get hit by Nair twice and then you die to up B at 60, like you're gonna think Ike is top 10. Like but yeah, no, there's no like Ike is a very straightforward character. It's just that you have to know a decent amount of fundamentals to be able to counterplay. Like,
yeah, I definitely think he gets the job done.
You want to react to end leg against Ike? No, you do not. You want to punish him preemptively before he gets to swing. You want to be hitting him at full hop height VO. Don't say that. Don't slander Ike in my chat. But anyway, so when it comes to whiff punishing in general, so you know how to anti-air, right? You know how to rise with an aerial, and you know how to stuff people out. However, now we're talking about punishing the whiff, right? So I would recommend with this that the dash attack be the final thing you do, right? Because dash attacking this, as we went over, is a risk, right? The dash attack should be the final action you take in hitting me. I would recommend instead you go for laser. So if you're standing over there and you see that I'm walling you out, full hop laser is an anti-air. Right? Yeah, exactly. Now, obviously, there are some positional annoyances with Falco, like his full hop sends him very high. So like hitting me for my full hop can be annoying with laser. But like if you time it perfectly, I think you get it. Yeah, or you can do that. That was perfect, what you just did. You hit me as I landed. You literally hit me during my movement, right? So you want to be mastering the laser stuff. Because essentially what that will do, it's frustrating. Like, when you get hit with a million lasers, you're going to want to just, like, do that.
Yep.
So you want to force that out, because if you get that, like, just hold shield and up tilt this. Right? That's beautiful for you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you want that to happen. You also want to get chip damage. Chip damage for Falco's good. It just is good. Right? Like,
Yeah.
if you didn't, let's say laser did 0%, this character would be worse. Even if it's stunned and everything. Like, having me at 24% here is, like, very nice to have. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Without moving, I haven't really done anything.
So, like, you can make it your goal sometimes to be like, I'm going to stand in this general area. I'm not going to give up too much stage, but I'm going to control the stage with laser and force them to come to me. Right? Now, the problem here, a lot of times, is that the transition between whiff punishing and lasering doesn't happen fast enough. And this is something that I see a lot, where, like, I tell people to do that and they're like, okay, and then they see me full hop and they hold shield. Right? So essentially what I want you to do, just fire a laser.
Say it one more time.
Just fire a couple lasers, and then I'm gonna jump in at you. I want you to hit me with fair. Exactly. Right idea, but, like, you want to time it a little earlier. Go ahead. Right? Yes. That time I short hopped. But essentially same thing. You wanna see me come toward you and get the anti-air. You can up tilt that, you can do whatever you want. But essentially, every time you fire a laser, you are ready to anti-air.
Yeah, I gotta get better at that.
Yeah.
And I've learned to, like, through playing Steve at least.
You've been playing Steve?
No, playing against Steve's.
Yeah.
Because I try to get them to, like, minecart to me. But, like, shooting multiple lasers keeps me in that animation. But if I can fire one, if I can get better at firing one, maybe like full short hopping, firing one, then I can get that anti-air you're talking about.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I'm just stuck in the laser.
The way that I think about it, and this isn't going to make sense at all, this is just the way that I conceptualize it. You want to think of that laser as, like, a very, very mini charge shot. Like, essentially when you fire it, if I want to avoid it, I have to shield it, I have to jump over it, or I have to, what is it? Shield it, jump over it. There's one other thing I can do. Oh yeah, I can stuff it out and, like, run at you and see what you do. But, like, if I'm running at you, I'm getting stunned. If I'm jumping over it, I'm getting faired. And if I'm staying in shield, then you're winning stage. Does that make sense? So, like, essentially, if you're playing around all my options, you're winning as soon as the charge shot comes out. Although it is very slight winning. But, like, obviously, it is way better to get hit by laser than to get hit by charge shot. So, like, it's not as good. So
I get the concept.
Yeah, it's the same general concept, and that's why Samus is such a textbook zone, right? Like, she's a textbook platform fighter zoner because she just has that triangle of, like, you jump, I hit you with fair. Like, her fair is designed to catch that sort of thing. You stay on the ground and shield, you get hit by it and I get stage. You run at me, you just get it fired at you and you get hit by it, right? So, like, for Falco it's a little bit weaker, so just fire a laser as I run at you. Like, for Falco, it's a little bit weaker, but, like, the stun is still there. Like, you have advantage here, right? Like, hold on, just do me a favor, just hold shield as soon as you fire it. I don't think I can hit you reasonably at all. And, like, the insane thing is, like, most people, like, just fire one and jump, like, short hop. Like, unless they parry it, they're gonna be, like, defensive. They don't want to get hit by another one. So, like, you can sometimes get advantage out of that, right? Generally, though, if they're here and you, like, hit a shield or something, you're unsafe.
Yeah.
But you don't want them to ever get to that point, right? By the time that they're here, so essentially, the way that Ike plays this out is very simply this. Do you see this circle?
Yeah.
If I'm here, I can hit you unreactively. If you're here, if you're there, you can hit me unreactively. Just run and then run to the middle and dash attack. Okay, I barely reacted, but it was because you barely mistimed it. Exactly, right? This circle, I think it's by design, is the range of reactability. because I also have this, right? And that's like the perfect spacing for it, right? And I literally just, I gave you like a haircut there, right? It's the perfect spacing. So I also have things like this, which I don't know how I missed it, but like I missed it again, like that, although that's a little bit easier to react to. But essentially in this range, it's unreactable. And I think if you side B, you get an unreactable one. Yeah, like that's unreactable. Or at least it's on the border. Like obviously it's very different if we're both standing here and I'm waiting for you to side B. But like, you know, if we're playing neutral and you're at that distance, like just somewhere on stage, I'm getting hit, right? So essentially, you have a couple ways. You have a way of dealing with this that Samus does not. Samus has Zaire, you have side B, which is kind of cool, right? So you hit this sort of like, you're laser camping, right? And I want to put myself in this range because it's unreactable for you, right? So essentially, if I'm here and you don't have a laser out, you're in a bad spot. Because if you laser, I get over it and I nair you. And if you don't laser, I run in and grab you, right? Does that make sense? And if you're swinging a move, you're getting dead attack because I outrange you. So if I'm here, laser becomes a guess.
5, 4.
Right?
So should I move back or should I just...
Perfect. If you are just outside that range, now I can't hit you with something unreactable. If I run up and dash attack, it whips. If I short buff in with nair, it whips. So essentially, you want to be just outside that range of reactability.
Okay.
And what that does, in essence, is it forces me to have to get there. And you can play around that. Right? So essentially, I want to write this down.
What do you think?
Fire lasers just outside the range of reactability to force me to either commit to getting closer or to retreat, right? When that situation happens where we are both just outside of the range of reactability, it is essentially now I have to choose between, all right, am I going to commit and swing, or am I going to retreat and back off? Because it's very difficult for me to stay in that situation, right? If I go closer to you, then I have the opportunity to get into that range and force laser to become a guess. I'm going to write that. If Ike is in that range, laser becomes a guess. I'm going to write opponent because it's more accurate. Funnily enough, this range of reactability is the same for every character in the game, or almost every character in the game. Like, for example, Zaire is just this long, like perfectly across this stage. I'm pretty sure it's by design. Like Mario dash attack is like it just clips you here. Like it's all very well executed. But essentially, this sort of range, if I'm just outside of it, you are in a good spot. Because I can't jump in and nair. I just can't do it. Right? I can't run up and dash attack without you being able to shield. So playing just outside this range with laser is great, right? Obviously, it might force you back a little bit. You don't want to give up too much stage. So usually I would say you want to be firing around here. If you're forced back a little bit, so be it. But like, you don't usually want to be here and like firing laser. But here, right, once I'm in this range, you're winning. And as soon as I'm here, it's weaker for you, right? In this general range, now you want to sort of be like, you know, like, okay, how am I going to deal with the approach, right? Essentially, it becomes a guess, right? Am I going to swing at you, right, with something like that? Or am I going to try and, like, wait for something, right? Like, am I going to try and just force you to pick a bad option and, like, roll in or something? Yeah. But, like, you want to keep me out of that range, and generally the way you can do that is with not just laser, but, like, this is going to sound weird, but also not laser. It's hard to explain, but essentially, through a mixture of firing laser at given points, right, and not firing laser at given points, you can keep this sort of range, right, until eventually you're in a spot, or like, for you, best case scenario is like I get frustrated and I force a situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Generally, the way Falco gets whip punishes is the opponent forces the situation, right? That's what a whip punish is, right? It's a punishment on that sort of whip. And usually whiffing is like you're forcing it. So, okay, let's write that down. Falco wants to force the opponent to force. Well, Falco wants the opponent to force an opening instead of earning it. And that gives you your opening. Right? So, if I'm here, right, I jump in, I'm now safe, right? I've won the situation. No matter what happens as soon as I start landing. Unless you go for an anti-air, which is a bit of a commitment, right? Because if I were to do this, then you're getting stuffed out, or like you're getting punished in some way. Mm-hmm. But if let's say I am, what's the word for it? If I'm here, and I can't do that, I either have to commit to getting into a range where I can do that, or I have to back off. Because staying here puts me at risk. Right? If I stay here, then you can jump in and pressure. Right? Then you can move forward and take that area. Right? And now I'm like worried. You don't, not necessarily with a direct hit, but like if you just dash in, now I'm on the defensive. Right? Like I can't swing. Like if I were here, right, and you were over there, swinging here is just a complete guess. But if you move into that space, you've taken it from me. Right? So the only way you're getting hit for approaching me in this situation is if I A, want to stay there, which is odd, and B, take a complete guess and swing. Right? It does happen, but it's rare. It's one of those things where it's like, I just want to hit you, and like, I'm just going to swing here, and hopefully it hits. Okay, so from there, if I'm here, eventually what I'm going to either try and do is work my way in a retreat, as we went over before. Hey Pumpkin, what's up? But essentially, I either will jump in or walk in or some sort of advancing option, or I will go back or jump back or something like that, right? And you can follow me in this state, right? You can, if I go backwards, you can go forward. And if I go forward, you don't necessarily have to go backwards because I'm out of the range of hitting you, if that makes sense. So you can, actually in this situation, you can try and dash attack me or something, right? You see how much power you have over this? I'm trying to emphasize it. I don't know if I'm doing a great job, but essentially when I'm here, you are in control of this stage right now, right? Especially if you've been laser camping and you're conditioning me to do something. Like you have most control here, right? From the perspective of dealing with laser, right? Obviously, if I read you, then you're in a bad spot because you're in the corner, just in general. Yeah. But especially in the center, you're winning. Kind of going on a bit of a tangent. I want to avoid that. So, basic sort of takeaway from this: you want to force me to get openings. This, like Pokeball, is the range of reactability. So you want to keep me just out of it, so that whether I jump in or whether I go back, I'm not in range to do so, and it becomes a guess. And it's a guess that you always have the advantage in. That's basically it. That's kind of my spiel. The last thing that I want to go over, I can't use Ike for. I just want to talk about how different characters might deal with this. And I think I'm gonna play Roy for a bit because I want to see how you deal with the mash. I might even play Crom just because it's just a better sword. I know the recovery is worse, but that's a very difficult sword to contest. I'll switch to Roy real quick. We'll talk a little bit about what Roy likes to look for in neutral, just in general. Roy, obviously, things like jab, things like down tilt on shield, things like down tilt in general, fast, as options. Nair, used to cross up, it's a great option. Fair is very safe. You can space it, which is, nice, but it also has that sort of inner hitbox. Like, essentially, you want to space Roy fair. This isn't super useful, but, like, you want to space Roy fair at a point where it can't be grabbed, but it's still the sweet spot, and it's super safe. Like, it's insanely safe. Up air is insanely safe when you space it. Down tilt, very safe. And there's one more. Back air is safe, but, like, usually you're not spacing with neutral. But yeah, essentially, like, with Roy, you're looking to get a hit and, like, turn it into a combo, always. Almost always. Unless you're looking for a kill, right? But Roy, it's a very similar thing. He looks for a lot of landed aerials, rising aerials to call out jumps, down tilt on the ground, grab occasionally, but, like, he'll prefer to hit jab on shield than he will to go for something like this, because that's a bit risky. Hey Dijon, what's up? But essentially, with Roy, the way you whiff punish, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit. I would say this matchup is probably worse for you. But this sort of thing, instead of looking to anti-air as much, because, like, you can anti-air Roy, don't get me wrong, and you should anti-air Roy when you get the feeling, but, like, Roys in general will do things like this, because they can swing twice in the air. So, like, you'll see double fair, you'll see triple fair, you'll see, like, I've seen people do this, and, like, this is insane. Let me just reset your perspective. But, like, doing rising this into up air is, like, if I don't hit, I get a combo. It's nuts. I call out jump and I hit you, right? Like, it's just insane. But usually what you want to do against somebody who's swinging twice is hit them in between. It's tough, but if you do it, you get a full combo. And usually that's with an up tilt or a short hop fair. You see where the gap is here? Between this and this? Perfect. 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 And one thing that's nice is that even though, so this is a moment where I would say you're looking for the best of a bad situation. Even though Roy has more range than you, things like fair, he wants to hit here, right? And that's actually an up tilt range, right? So if I'm full hopping, yeah, right? This is like, it's just kind of up tilt range. Obviously, if I'm tippering it, then it's not, but that's not going to kill you, will it? So, yeah, that's so stupid. But essentially, like, you can look for these moments where, like, how can I punish X move? How can I punish this? And you want to think about how you can punish the moves that your opponent does in neutral the most. And for most characters, that's landed aerial, that's a safe tilt on the ground, and that's maybe their grab. And that's dependent on the matchup. So, like, think about all the options your opponent might do in neutral. Then for some characters, it's their dash attack, right? Like Greninja. Greninja dash attack is as safe as, like, basically a normal character's down tilt. Think about all the options your opponent might do in neutral. Think about ways you can consistently punish them for whiffing. Whipping, and then you apply them in game. So we're gonna play some games with Roy. But essentially, you apply them in game, and if they don't work at all, either A, you have a gross, like, mistiming error, and you don't fully understand when you're supposed to do it, which is rare, or there's a better way of dealing with it. So, for example, parrying, as we talked over, really good. Stuffing me out might be the best option, right? For example, if you're having a huge amount of difficulty hitting up tilt on this, right? Instead of fishing for up tilt, you might just want a rising fair. It just might be the better option. Exactly, right? So, by the way, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, perfect. So, essentially, that's how you want to take each matchup. And, like, usually before I play each matchup, I'm thinking, okay, what do they want to hit in neutral? How can I either A, whiff punish that, so that they can't hit me and stay just out of their range, such that I can hit them, but they can't hit me with it? Or how do I prevent it from happening and get my own pressure off so that they don't even get the opportunity to do it in the first place? Generally, that's how I approach the game from like a neutral perspective. I think neutral is very overcomplicated, so I'm not going to spend a million years talking about something that isn't really necessary to go over, because I think your neutral's fine. It's just that you want to think about, how do I punish this move? How do I either essentially with whip punishing, you're thinking about, how do I punish this person for doing this move? And then with stuffing out and like hitting someone preemptively, you're thinking about, how do I know when this person's going to go for this so I can hit them before it happens? That's really, I would say that's one of the biggest strengths Falco can have, because his pressure is fairly weak. He doesn't, like, Laser's good, Laser's really good. It's just that he can't really pressure shield in the same way as other characters can. So you do wanna focus on this aspect and really hone it, because it'll really win you these games. It'll be the difference between winning and losing, I think. Okay, so let's play some games. I think we're just gonna talk, and I'm gonna see how it goes. I'm very used to playing Ike, but I think I do have to branch out and start playing other characters, because this is one thing where like Roy is really gonna like teach this concept. He just gets to mash. Like he really does.
He does.
And I kind of does in some situations, but it's not the same. Okay, so I'm just gonna give it my best.
Alright.
Okay. Okay. Good. I caught on. A lot of shield in the corner. Okay. Nice. Nice. See, I just kind of went for it in the scramble situation. Good. That was perfect. You used the unreactable range very well. Perfect. That was good. You called me out for going forward. Okay. Did you mean to crouch there?
I crouch a lot.
Ah. I mean, it makes sense
People
because
tell me to stop, but I like it. And it's like, I've ducked a few moves that probably should have hit.
no, I was thinking like, is he trying to avoid back air? Like it's actually not that bad an idea. Falco's crouch isn't the best, but it's really not a bad option. Good jump. That was a very nice jump. Nice. Good. I like that. That F tilt is perfect. I can tell you're feeling this. Like, you stuffed me out there so well. Okay. Nice. Perfect. perfect. I think you can air dodge there, but I'm not sure. I don't think fair is true. I think fair is.
Oh.
I'm catching a lot of shield in the corner. Good idea. Nice. Very cool. The up tilt stuff was good. The F tilt and the side B to the stage. I think sometimes it's a bit risky. The first few F tilts when I was like in that range and we were just spacing it were fine. I think is it -12?
I can't figure out the
What's that? You don't know off the top of your head? I'll look it up later. I think it's actually Roy-able. I just don't have that instinct in my head yet. But I would be careful, unless it's like tipper of toe spaced. You do want to be careful with F tilt on shield, but I like the idea of keeping me out. Nice. Calling out a lot of retreating in general. Okay, fair enough. I like it. I do want to see a little bit more edge guarding, although that is tough for Falco. Beautiful. See, that's a perfect example of you just kind of waiting for something to happen.
The range stuff is kind of what I'm trying to do. It's helping.
Yeah, no, you see how, like, if you're just out of the range where I can jump in and fair, you are winning that situation. Like, in that situation, it was more of a bait. Like, I just kind of did it and shielded.
I'm kind of learning how good his falling up air is, but yeah.
Yeah. Falling up air for Roy and for Falco are both good. I just called you out to do something now. Okay. That was a moment where I felt like you were gonna wait, so I just picked a really greedy defensive option and just rolled in. Oh! I'm so sorry.
Jeez.
I have never hit that before. I don't know why I went for it.
What a content.
Yeah, for the content, definitely. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, the down air animation is really cool. It just never works.
Yeah. That was definitely good.
Falco Nair is good. Somebody said in chat Falco Nair's amazing. It's solid. It's one of those things that, honestly, when I asked you to space it, I thought it would space a little better. I didn't realize it didn't have enough range.
A lot of people don't believe me when I say this character can't touch shield.
Yeah, I really do think up air is like, you have to rely on it. Maybe back air, but back air is like -8 or something. So it's just not very safe. Especially considering the risk. Okay. There I called you out for full hopping in.
Can you just do that? Can you just dab my shield?
I can. I think it's -10. I don't think you can punish me for that. It's one of those things. I was talking to Solo about this. It also has very low shield stun. So like the time you have to react to punish me, even if it is misspaced, is like very low. Ooh, okay. 1 for 1. But that's what I like to see, especially against Roy. Like, killing him at 0 is so powerful. That's what I mean, like, side being from there, if I'm in mid-stage, it'll work, and, like, you won't usually get punished unless I shield it, but I can also hit you for it. And, like, trading with it's pretty easy for Roy. Beautiful. Look at that. Like, you knew that I wanted to jump in with a move, and you just waited in the spot. It was perfect. It's definitely not your instinct yet, but I think you should practice doing things like spot dodge out of those moves. Or honestly, this is going to sound weird, but you might even want to jab out of something like that. Not down tilt. I used to think down tilt for Ike in particular was good for like scrambles. You want to be jabbing. Beautiful. Usually at a parry you can go for an up tilt, or honestly something else, that was nice. But in situations like after you get hit by jab and like I could grab you, you can jab yourself. And like that's a really powerful way of stuffing out match.
I don't know why I spot dodge.
What'd you say?
I don't know why I spot dodge right there.
I don't either. Now I'm calling you out for waiting. Like this now is a game, right? Does that make sense? Like before, a lot of times you would just kind of come at me and I would just hit you for coming at me. Now, like we're both trying to figure out like, is he gonna jump in? Is he not gonna jump in? Is he gonna try and wait? Can I hit him for waiting? Like, is he gonna try and stuff me out? Like now it's a game. Does that make sense? Good idea. What'd you say?
No one ever rose when I want them to off ledge.
Yeah. That's the thing though, like, it's not about when you want it, it's about when they do it. Perfect. See what I mean? I don't know about that, but that's exactly what I want to see. I want to see jab. I got excited. I thought you were dead. Watching Carmine play is underrated, I guess. It's one of those things where like I play better when I play a character I haven't played in a while. You know, like I like Roy, and I've played Roy a decent amount, especially the past few days, just because I like the character. But I haven't played him in a while, and like I don't have the muscle memory of like cringe options, so I'm using him as sort of a vessel for my reads. So it looks better. It looks cleaner. That's one thing. Like, I wouldn't say like playing another character seriously, but just kind of like resetting your muscle memory of like going for certain options and just kind of playing a different character can be very helpful for getting out of.
I've been finding more characters fun lately for whatever reasons, but
yeah,
Joker. I've been playing some more like a little bit more.
Nice.
I've been having the weirdest urge to play Diddy.
Honestly, that's the character that will definitely reset your sort of, I don't know how to put it, like habits.
Mm-hmm.
But habits is definitely the wrong word, just the one I can think of. Yeah, that's broken. Dude, the fact that, like, Chroms in particular, too, like, the fact that that's just anti-airs as well is so stupid. If it were safe on shield, it'd be so good. Nice. Oh, that was so clean. Perfect. Perfect. And now I shield. Oh no, you called me out. But see how like now it's a game? Like now we're playing against each other. I tried to do the funny Roy. Okay. I booked it out of there. Nice. Very clean back airs. So one thing to note is that, for example, if you were to do Nair drag down into up tilt for ZSS, he probably would be able to jab you out of it, or at least it would be something you'd have to play around. But because Roy's jab comes out on like frame 7 and it has way more startup, you can just get that Nair up tilt for free. So like, keeping that in mind and knowing like, oh, when can I do X and when can I do this is really like important. So like, a lot of stuff is character dependent. It's because there are a billion characters. Why was that safe? Holy. Okay. Oh wow. Good idea. I did not expect you to try and cover me either. Yeah, nice. What was that? Is this melee? I don't know what you were talking about. The down air felt like melee, yeah. But that was definitely a melee match. I just realized we're playing melee characters.
Indeed.
325. We'll play for like 5 more minutes,
Gotcha.
and I'll send you your doc as soon as the stream ends.
All right. Whenever you got time.
Yeah, no problem. Dare into dare. That's the thing. Like, if Roy doesn't want you to relax, you are not relaxing. Nice. Perfect up tilt on that there. Sorry, I wanted to dismiss a notification.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. Oh, spot dodge dead. You gotta be careful, because jab is just so quick, it covers it. Because it's kind of a wire bug in your brain to get back to the ledge, and that way, oh, it goes. But like, that's definitely a bit of a habit that's side B. Honestly, I would recommend you try and get to a point where you're only side B, but you're not doing it anywhere near stage. So like Roy, for example, he can do this and just get back to the ledge. Yeah, I know. He does have to use double jump, but like, it's a big thing among Ike players to like, what's the word? To double jump in when they don't have to. Yeah, you burn your jump there. But it's a big habit among Ikes to charge side B and like to miss the side B very early, myself included, honestly. But essentially what you want to do instead is not charge the side B and save your jump, so that even if you do get hit, which is, you know, your opponent has to like make a good play, you still have more than enough resources to recover. Because like as soon as you have to up B, it's reactable. And, like you should die to Roy, honestly. But side B, it's way less reactable. So like doing it immediately and then getting sent off and then needing to up B is just not. It's not functional. Nice. Nice. See how there I couldn't jump in and hit you? And like now, there you got a good punish, but like before, like until I misspaced that aerial, I was winning the situation because I had so much control. Like right there, there's no need to be there without snapping life. Nice, perfect, perfect. So clean. What if you played Roy and your tag was "Don't Test Me"? That's so cringe. I don't know what that means. Okay. I honestly there I just kind of sensed the jump. Bro, you see how I got clanked with and it gave me an extra opportunity to match?
Yeah. That was insane.
Yeah, see how right there, like, you jumped in such a way where if I had just put it back there, you were dead. Obviously, I didn't put it back there, but, like, there was such a long amount of time that you could see, like, that recovery was not great. Nice. Oh, nice.
Alright, we're still here, guys. Oh.
I like the mix up there. That's a particular side B got me. Nice. You see how like you're holding the stage right here? And like obviously now you're in a bad spot, but like yeah, I'm not too great with matching and shit. But like that's very clearly not a spot you want to be in. That's the place you want to avoid. Okay. Oh, alright. Cool. I'll take it back here.
I always think I'm getting air dash to the other side.
What is it?
I always think the person's going to air dash to the other side.
Good idea. Ike just has, not Ike. Roy just has a lot of time to shield there. Wait, you can't grab that? That's insane.
I don't know why I did.
Nice parry. I started mashing.
Tilt.
No way. Yeah, I was gonna say. You gotta be careful. I was re-kick back there too. Okay, it's 3:32. I do have to go. But that was a really good set. Like I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think I feel like something clicked back when you said with punishing is the opposite of anti.
Really? Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it clicked so early, but I'm glad that it did.
I don't know. It's just something about like. I feel like I learned a new, not a mechanic.
You got a new
that's
perspective.
One word. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, no, I'm very glad to hear that. That's great. It's Zane's Slippy tag. Oh, okay. Maybe one day I'll put it as Zane's tag. Zane's awesome. But okay, I do have to go. But yeah, I'm glad this was helpful.
No doubt, man.
Awesome. Okay.
Appreciate it.
I'll send you your doc, and I hope to hear from you again soon.
Yeah, you will.
Awesome. All right, later, man.
Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Okay, that was just a really good session, dude. Every time I coach, I realize how much I fucking love it. I love coaching. All right, so I guess I'll announce it. I'm on Medify. You can book a session here, I guess, if you want. I gotta send this person their thing, but you can get $10 off any session you want if you just visit that link and put in Carmine $10. I'm literally giving away basic sessions at this point to celebrate Medify. But yep, Medify. I'm the first Medify session. You are the first Medify session. But I have a thing I gotta go to at like 4, so I gotta go. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Let's go. Yeah, you're the first. You too. All right. Everybody have a good day. Thank you all for tuning in. This was awesome. Ike Tips Part 2, I'm working on it now, so sub if you want to see it sooner. And I'll like really try and like get it done. But all right. Peace.